Okay, Patrick, here's the paddock. I know it looks a wee bit different after a normal Canterbury summer. The last 10 days we've had about 10 inches of rain. Been sprayed off a couple of times. Now, what are you advising we put in here?
Yes, it's quite incredible really. The ground conditions are absolutely superb, but we've had a second strike of weeds. We've got a fair bit of greenery here. We're going to make the decision to go because there's plenty of moisture in the ground. We're going to plant some Spitfire rape, some winter star annual ryegrass, some Persian clover for biological nitrogen fixation, and we're also going to put in half a kilo of plantain just to try and reduce the amount of nitrate that's leaching into the soils.
Yeah, it sounds a great brew. What sort of time frame? We're planting now mid-February, germination and then maturity, I suppose.
Yeah, so obviously heaps of moisture there, and we're in February, so it's still fairly warm. So we should see germination within sort of 10 days, but it could be as quick as 5 days. So we've actually made the decision to come back in here and put a third application of glyphosate across this, just to get control of this barley grass and some of these other weeds that are here. So yeah, it'll happen pretty quickly.
As far as what I'm trying to achieve, it's to feed pregnant ewes in the winter. If all the ducks line up and we get a good growing season, what sort of yield will we get?
So there's no reason we shouldn't be able to achieve about 10 tonne, if not more, considering the time that we're planting. So the rape variety that we're putting in, Spitfire, is 110-day maturity, so a little under 4 months. But it will hold its quality through June and July, which is really important, so you've got high quality feed for your ewes, because you're going to start grazing in July.
For me, I direct drill rather than conventional cultivation because you rip it up here, we get rocks. What are the pros and cons as far as the cultivars we're putting in with the cultivation or direct drilling?
Yeah, well, direct drilling, it has its advantages, but it has its disadvantages. So it's generally a lower cost scenario, so you're not cultivating the paddock and burning diesel. Generally, it stacks up a lot better in overseer, so you're going to lose less nitrogen out of the soil in a direct drilling scenario because you're not flipping over the soil and you're not stimulating biological activity, which in turn releases nitrogen. But the disadvantages of that is that you have a lot of pests. So we've got a heap of residual biomass, trash here, so that acts as a harbouring agent for slugs, for Argentine stem weevil, for springtails. So as a consequence, we've treated the seed here today, and we'll be monitoring really closely for slugs to ensure that we get a good establishment. So we've got pretty good ground conditions here, Richard.
Yeah, plenty of moisture.
Plenty of moisture, fair bit of trash on top. Harrows are doing a pretty good job at closing over those rows. Really important that we check the depth of the seed here and make sure, of course, that the seed's actually in the ground. So we want to have just enough coverage on the seed so that it's not exposed and so that it stimulates germination, so we get it up and out of the ground as quickly as possible. And just looking at this, looks pretty good there to me.